Olá, boa noite. O Exou Biribó, hoje com o vídeo 7 de The Forgotten City. Ontem até conseguimos muitas informações indo e vindo nas missões, sem morrer nem precisar usar o portal, e sem que a eleição fosse precipitada. O jogo, então, talvez nem esteja assim tão perto do fim. Vamos, neste ponto, como sempre, ver em que pé estão as missões ainda pendentes. No ponto de origem, não mudou nada, claro, isso acho que só vai mudar no final do jogo, criar um paradoxo temporal. A regra de ouro, averiguar o culpado por romper a regra de ouro, também a nossa missão final. Uma tarefa hercúlea, conseguir as 4 placas roubadas. Intervenção divina, quiçá os deuses me ajudem a escapar. Água passada, atingir os encanamentos superiores. O pecador, descobrir quem está ameaçando Virgílio. Um homem virtuoso, conseguir que o Maléolo desista da candidatura e que o Galério se candidate e seja eleito. Desaparecimento, averiguar o que aconteceu com Cecília. Uma solução permanente, evitar que o Úlpio se suicide. Nisso nós falhamos e só vamos poder agir de novo depois de passar pelo portal em alguma oportunidade. Democracia em ação, fazer que o Maléolo desista da eleição. A placa romana, perguntar a Otávia sobre a placa e encontrar e colocar no lugar. Placa grega, encontrar e colocar no lugar, a egípcia também, e a placa misteriosa também. Vamos tentar novamente solucionar quem está ameaçando Virgílio. No inventário, 519 denários, a lanterna, a tirolesa, 2 chaves do cofre do Santuário de Apolo, a chave da Aurélia, a carta de Cêncio Adule, resina de Sílfio, 2 notas dos tratamentos de Nívia, corteza de Salce, arco dourado, informação sobre a recompensa, 39 flechas, chave da porta do palácio, chave do santuário secreto, chave da vila de Maléolo, registro dos cidadãos da cidade. Boneco de treinamento. Parece que Domício o usou para treinar. Me pergunto por que ele estará treinando.
Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out there somewhere suffering?
Casco de cavalaria. Elmo de cavalaria. Um antigo elmo de cavalaria romano com uma máscara fechada e uma pena feita de crinas de cavalo. Escudo romano, um tipo de escudo conhecido como scutum. Que deve ser a origem da palavra escudo. Uma garrafa.
Galerius?
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them?
Revivo o mesmo um dia e outra vez e outra vez. Nunca me crerias ou foi tudo uma coincidência? Revivo o mesmo dia.
You're toying with me, right? Wait, you're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his name? Sisyphus. Yeah, that's the one. Old King Sisyphus.
Como Sísifo? Em que sentido?
Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago. For daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down to the bottom, forcing him to start over and over and over again, for all eternity. Just like you. Actually, now that I think about it, there are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a tree he could never quite reach. The Pleiades had to keep fetching water in a sieve. Oh, and Ixion was strapped to a wheel going round and round forever. But, on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were.
Oh, sim, ao menos isso. Continue.
Anyway, I don't know which god you managed to upset to get yourself into this position, friend, but you seem all right to me. So, I'll tell you what. I'll keep doing whatever I can to help you. And you just focus on finding a way to break the cycle you're in.
Obrigado, galera. Você é bom homem, galera.
Oh, that's kind of you to say. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend. Don't be too hard on
Tá,
yourself.
uma é aqui.
From what I hear, nobody saw it coming.
A
Anyway,
outra é
I
ali.
thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out there somewhere suffering, waiting to be found?
Amuleto com forma fálica que os romanos pensavam que teria propriedades divinas e protetoras.
Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right.
Cofre do Rúfio. Só dinheiro. Nota incompleta. Essa é uma advertência final, ser pecaminoso. Agora então devo convencer o Rúfio que deixe de ameaçar. É o Rúfio o ameaçador, eu pensando que era o Domício, só porque ele é do mal.
Let's go to starting.
O Rúfio parece que não quer conversar agora. Ah, na hora de começar as eleições... Eu não roubei a
The
regra.
many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Porque o censo não tinha chegado ainda.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back?
Sou o Biribá e preciso que você se ocupe das coisas com urgência.
Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening.
Tudo de novo. Remédio
Yulia?
pra Júlia,
Oh no. All right, I can do that.
remédio pro Rúfio,
Poor guy. My uncle was a victim at rheumatism's altar, and he ended up killing himself. All right, got it.
evitar que Fábia entre no santuário e mandar que o bandido entre.
All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Corra lá, é melhor a gente correr, mamãe. E eu vou fazer o que agora mesmo? Vou evitar que o Rúfio se mate. Aqui tem uma ponte que em algum momento eu vou precisar atravessar, né? Vou até ver. Caçador de tesouros, troféu conquistado. Uma bolsa de moedas.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far?
Me sinto pouco ao bordo das minhas emoções.
That's good, in a sense. If you're not on edge, you've not been paying attention. But on the bright side, once you've been here a few months, it's slightly less terrifying anyway. We've all been where you are now. I remember when I first arrived. I used to lay awake at night contemplating the big questions. Why am I here? Is there a way out? What is the Golden Rule, and who or what is responsible for it? I still don't have any of the answers, I'm afraid. I don't think anybody does. But I'm happy to share with you what I've learned.
Qual é a sua história?
Here, in this place, the magistrate has me earning my keep by cleaning and pruning the gardens. It's not quite how I expected my life to go. I used to live in a lovely villa on the banks of the Tiber. I was even betrothed to a handsome young man from a prominent family. But long hours of menial labour for the good of the community has its own charms too, I suppose.
Como você chegou aqui?
Oh, much the same way as many of the others. When the fires came to Rome 7 months ago, my family and I fled for the Tiber, hoping to escape on a barge. We were among the fortunate ones with enough coins for passage, but unfortunately, there were a lot of desperate people, and they boarded before we could depart. A scuffle broke out, and I was pushed overboard. The last thing I remember was the water, rising up to hit my cheekbone. I woke up by the river, near that shrine, and stumbled across this place.
Sinto ouvir isso.
Oh, that's all right. I'm sure it's all part of God's plan for me.
Ah, que Deus! Então ela é cristã. Acredita num único Deus. Esperemos que sim, me parece bem. Deus? Você não quer dizer os deuses? Eu vou arrancar essa explicação para ela? Dela?
Oh yes, of course. A slip of the tongue.
Não sei não, hein? Vamos falar de outra coisa.
If you like.
Sabe como sair daqui?
I'm afraid not. Although I did once hear someone gossiping down at Aurelia's tavern about a possible way out. I don't put a lot of stock in such rumours, but if you're desperate and wealthy, you could look into it, I suppose. If that doesn't work, then I suppose we're all stuck here until the gods decide our fate.
É cristã, sim. Obrigado, investigarei, obrigado, mas é trabalhão sem dúvida alguma.
Oh, I see. Well, that doesn't surprise me. I'm sorry I even suggested it. I won't make that mistake again.
Não foi erro, eu vou investigar. Eu escolhi uma resposta errada porque eu não entendo muito bem o espanhol, né? O que você opina sobre a regra de ouro?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. I think about those words a lot. I'd like to think that if we all love our neighbours as ourselves and do to them as we'd have them do to us, then we'll all be fine. But on the other hand, I was always taught the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth, and that all of us are born with a tendency towards sin. And that's where I get stuck. Is it true? Are we born with a tendency towards sin?
Na primeira parte ela deixou claro que conhece bem a doutrina cristã. Faça o bem que gostaria que te fizesse. Trata como a ti mesmo. Nascemos com uma tendência inata a pecar? Creio que não. Creio que a gente é boa por natureza. Não, a tendência é inata a pecar. Assim parece.
If that's true, then sooner or later, things are going to end badly for all of us down here. Unless, of course, there's some kind of divine intervention.
Que não reste dúvidas que acabará com uma intervenção.
I wish I shared your faith.
Então você pratica o cristianismo?
Please keep that to yourself. I know you're not from around here, but things are very difficult for us right now. There was a terrible fire in Rome last year, and our emperor decided to make us his scapegoats. There were executions. It was horrible.
Teu segredo está a salvo comigo. Me parece bem. Ando buscando uma placa romana que alguém tirou do obelisco. Pode dizer-me de onde se encontra? Não, primeiro direi que o segredo dela está a salvo comigo.
Oh, thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate that.
Agora eu posso perguntar da placa romana.
Even if I had seen it, and I'm not saying I have, I couldn't in good conscience give it to you. That's all I'll say.
Talvez o magistrado gostasse de saber sobre as suas crenças. Não vou traí-la agora que eu disse que ia guardar o segredo. Tenho que ir-me. Tenho que falar com Ulpio.
All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh, no. No. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him.
Você crê que o suicídio viola a regra de ouro?
I don't know, but it's a crime for slaves to take their own lives. And a debt bondsman isn't far off.
Ok, vou falar com ele. De novo.
Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Isso é o que teria querido a Cecília?
You know about that? How is that possible? I mean, I've never mentioned it to anyone.
Nunca me crerias que o dissesse, se o dissesse.
Well, if you say so. You don't understand. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want it all to be over.
Talvez possa resolver o teu problema.
It's too late for that. Yulia and I made a pact, and she's already swallowed hemlock this morning. If I backed out now, I'd be betraying her. I can't do that.
Júlia está viva. Lucrécia foi capaz de colher algo de sífio a tempo de salvar a vida. Ela se recuperará.
Oh, really? That changes things a little. But we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Unless you happen to have 2,000 denarii to pay off both of our debts.
E 2.000 eu não tenho. Espera, por que você precisa de 2.000 denários? Não, mas poderia arranjar o dinheiro se me der um pouco de tempo.
No. Time's up. I am out. Wherever you are, Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no! I can't believe he went through with it. Why? Oh, Lord. That poor lamb.
Siga a Otávia para ver onde ela reza. Foi culpa minha?
That was not your fault. There's no way you could have given him what he wanted, moments after you arrived.
E agora, o que faz?
I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Mas é agora que eu vou ver onde ela reza, agora ela vai avisar a cidade sobre a morte do Luke. E onde está a placa? Essa daqui? Placa romana. Uma placa com uma inscrição em latim que diz: Plutão, pai das riquezas. Conseguiu uma placa romana. Uma talha de madeira com o símbolo de um peixe. Parece ser de caráter religioso. Peixe, o símbolo dos cristãos, né? Estás cometendo assédio. Eu tinha encontrado o Rúfio no caminho, né? Preciso mandar que ele pare de assediar o Virgílio.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
É você que está ameaçando Virgílio?
No idea what you're talking
Today's a
about?
sad day.
Sei que foi você. Encontrei uma carta não terminada nos seus aposentos.
Look, I haven't been at my best lately. I know that. It's the rheumatism. It starts with constant pain in all your joints. Then the pain starts to mess with your head. Makes you angry, mean. I know that's not an excuse for how I acted. But it's the truth. But with the willow bark, I'm already starting to feel like myself again. I'll leave him alone from now on. It's not as if I was ever going to hurt him anyway. I was just lashing out. I'm going to go and clean up the graffiti. Just forget this ever happened. Will you?
Muito bem, sem problema. Mas está aprendendo a lição, né, preconceituoso? O principal é mudar o comportamento. Esse machismo estrutural. Tá aqui.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. I'm glad you arrived when you did.
Bem que a Bá comentou. A dor faz preconceituoso, sim. Sempre que eu sinto dor eu viro homofóbico, racista, fascista. Tudo de mal me acontece quando eu sinto alguma dor no dedo do pé. Não te preocupes pelas ameaças. É só Rúfio e ele não vai te causar dano.
What demon or spirit told you about that?
Eu encontrei uma carta na casa dele.
You went snooping in his place? That was risky. We're lucky you didn't cross any lines. Have you spoken to him about it?
Sim, eu já falei com ele e ele não voltará a te incomodar.
Really? How did you manage that?
Encontrei um tratamento para o reumatismo que o perturbava e que piorava o resto dos seus problemas. Claro, né? Não era o reumatismo que o tornava preconceituoso, mas a dor agravava esses problemas dele.
Poor fellow. I've heard that can really mess with a person's head. Well done for figuring that out.
É um prazer poder ajudar. Creio que ele também quer ajudar a limpar os grafites.
Really? That's promising. I'll keep an eye out for him.
Tenho que ir.
Nice to talk to you.
E o outro veio cumprir a promessa aqui. De limpar a sujeira que fez. A egípcia, investigar o templo grego para encontrar pistas sobre o paradeiro de Kabash. E já está aqui o templo grego, egípcio. Templo de Deméter? Uma estátua grega, seguramente da deusa a que está dedicado esse templo. Talvez algum residente grego da zona saiba mais sobre ela. Só tem um residente grego, né? O Giorgio. Que vai saber sobre Deméter. Parece que alguém passou por aqui faz pouco tempo. Um jarro grego pintado em que está representada uma batalha. Estátua. Uma escultura grega em mau estado de uma mulher. Sem dúvida alguma, está aqui há muito tempo. outra estátua como aquela. A lira, uma lira grega que se toca com um plectro. É água, poxa, que susto. Pensei que era algum vulto fantasmagórico. Encontrei alguém aqui embaixo. Arqueologista, troféu conquistado. Perguntar ao ancião sobre Kabash.
You carry the gift of Prometheus in your hand. Remarkable. Welcome, welcome. May I ask your name?
Me chamo Biribá.
It's a sincere pleasure to meet you. Tell me, what brings you all the way down here?
Procuro Kabash. Encontrei esse lugar casualmente, ando buscando uma placa que alguém tirou do obelisco. Ando buscando Kabash.
Ah, Kabash. I know this man. He came through here some weeks ago. I will tell you everything I know, but first, a request. I have been living down here alone for many years, with nobody to talk to but myself. The one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good philosophical argument with somebody astute. I'm hoping that person is you. Let us find out with this simple question. Have you deduced the name of the god responsible for the Golden Rule?
É aquele do qual não se diz o nome, mas eu vou dizer? Plutão, deus do inframundo?
Excellent. I see you are indeed quite astute. Very few come to that realization before their time in the sun is over. Now, will you join me in a friendly Socratic dialogue?
Você gostaria de unir-se a um diálogo socrático que tenho preparado? Parece fácil. Se não há outro remédio, vou passar. Não vou dizer que parece fácil, não. Nós já fizemos o jogo que o Sócrates aparece e os diálogos dele não são nada simples.
Good enough for me. Now, let me begin with a question. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong?
Sabe distinguir o bem do mal? É uma questão difícil. Não sei, é uma questão difícil.
You are an overthinker too. We're the same then. It is probably why I became a philosopher. But if you struggle with right and wrong normally, then down here with the Golden Rule, surely your struggle can only have become more difficult.
Com a regra de ouro fica mais difícil distinguir o certo e o errado? Assim é, sim, suponho que sim. As duas são a mesma resposta, né? Uma é mais afirmativa. É assim.
Well, that's reassuring. And the truth is, you're not alone. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong was acceptable because our mistakes rarely had consequences. So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize, and yet still find a way to think of ourselves as good people. But under the Golden Rule, morality matters. The slightest wrongdoing could result in a mass execution. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree?
Para nos movermos pelo labirinto, temos que conhecer a diferença entre o bem e o mal. Não crê? Claro. Ou suponho. Ou qual versão do bem e do mal? Qual versão do bem e do mal o senhor está referindo?
That is an excellent question, and it leads directly to my next line of inquiry. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct? which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing.
Há algum sistema de moralidade que sempre seja perfeitamente correto, que possas aceitar em qualquer situação e que sirva para fazer sempre o correto? Não vai me dizer que ele vai fazer o enigma do bonde, no tempo que nem existia bonde? Sim, há mais. Não, creio que não. Um sistema de moralidade sempre perfeitamente correto, em qualquer situação sirva para sempre fazer o correto? Não, creio que não.
Are you sure? Or is it possible that humans simply haven't figured out the right system yet?
Está falando da ética, mas... E a ética no dilema do bonde? Suponho que ainda não o temos averiguado. Creio que não existe isso que chama uma moral adequada. Suponho que ainda não chegamos a isso.
After hundreds of years and as many great thinkers dedicating their lives to these questions, what hope do we have if our best and brightest haven't been able to answer them?
Aonde você quer chegar ou espera quero mudar minha resposta? Aonde você quer chegar?
My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any hard and fast rules about right and wrong.
Foi isso que eu estava dizendo. Boa observação. Não sei. Onde está a opção de não matar? Boa observação.
If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people will always find a way around them. And so we must accept our limitations, and the sad truth that no human society will ever achieve the utopia for which it strives. In mathematics, we would call it an asymptote, a line that can be approached but never reached. Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all.
Estou de acordo. Sim, por que não? Não sei. Creio que você está enganado. Eu estou de acordo.
I'm glad to hear that. In any case, thank you for humoring an old man. I would be happy to answer your questions.
O senhor achou que eu fui bem no diálogo socrático? Só porque no fim eu concordei com o senhor, foi isso? Qual é a tua história?
You mean, how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing but these relics of the past for company? It's a long story.
Eu escuto.
I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, I left Corinth for Rome to study rhetoric at one of her finest academies, so I could argue more forcefully. Back then, I used to enjoy verbally sparring with everyone I could, and I was good. One night, I found myself in a tavern in an argument with a drunk mercenary. It became heated, he drew a gladius, and I won the argument, but lost my life. I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return, but even with all my skill, I failed. I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could, quickly realizing our little community faced certain death under the Golden Rule. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I found this place waiting for me. You see, I was not the first to take refuge here. I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of us descended for the last time to live out our days hidden from Hades' tyranny.
Hades? Você se refere a Plutão?
They are one and the same. The Romans call him Pluto, but long before that, my people called him Hades.
Ah, o senhor é grego. Por que não pode voltar à superfície?
My generation was wiped out, turned to gold, many years ago. My friends and I were able to avoid the same fate by hiding down here. I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades would realize that his furies hadn't finished the job, and he'd send them after me again.
Por que você não pode me dizer o teu nome? Eu nem perguntei.
I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, even by mistake, that Hades would hear you and know I am still alive.
E onde está todo mundo?
I'm afraid I am the only one left. There were 12 of us in the beginning, but one by one, my friends passed away. Some from malnutrition, others from madness and despair. It has been lonely. Before my unexpected visit from Kabash some weeks ago, I'd not seen another person in many, many years.
Como você sobreviveu aqui embaixo?
Living in darkness is not without its challenges. The first challenge is diet. Fortunately, I found that eating fresh fish provides most of the nutrients I need. And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings they've left in the temple of Demeter. The greater challenge is the isolation. So I like to imagine arguments, where I argue both sides. But, like so many things in life, arguments are better with a partner.
Então é assim que some a comida das oferendas. Ele é que pega.
As you wish.
Vamos falar de outra coisa. Sabe como sair daqui?
If I did, would I be living like this?
O que você diz da regra de ouro, fora toda a discussão filosófica que a gente teve?
Did we not discuss it at length already? Oh, I see. You're toying with me.
Tô só zoando, diz ele. Estudou tanta filosofia para chegar à conclusão. Tão só me zoando. Sabe onde posso encontrar uma placa que tiraram do obelisco?
You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian inscription.
Isso.
It is a cursed object, and I would be happy to give it to you, if Kabash had not already taken it.
Kabash levou. Então onde está o Kabash?
I will tell you, but you may find him hostile. To prepare for your encounter, there are certain things you must know. Very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was once entirely Greek. The architecture, the temples, and the people. When the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own, built over everything that could be built over, and renamed the things that could not. Thus, the shrine of Persephone became the shrine of Proserpina. And when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. And the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing this compulsive Roman conquest, decided to preserve what they could of their heritage. They gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through the temple of Demeter, and hid them here, out of reach of the Romans.
No momento estou com você. O que tem isso a ver com o Kabash?
I'm getting to that. You see, it was among these old Greek relics that I found the thing you seek. An even older plaque bearing an Egyptian inscription.
Que dizia, ou como chegou até aqui a placa? Vou perguntar o que dizia.
We had no idea until years later, when the first of my friends began to die. As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs branching off from this cavern to lay them to rest. We extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another, an even older tunnel, which somebody had gone to great lengths to keep hidden. Suddenly it made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque among our people's possessions. You see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans beasts for stealing and corrupting our heritage. But it turns out this game has been going on much longer than any of us imagined. I think it is best you head through the catacombs and follow Kabash's trail.
E o que há ali? Oh, espero que não seja uma armadilha. As duas coisas. O que há ali?
There are certain things you must see for yourself. Take this key. You'll need it to open the gate.
Chave da catacumba. Uma velha chave oxidada da porta de metal das catacumbas. Tenho que ir-me.
I enjoyed our chat, but please, keep my presence here a secret, yes?
Sim, farei. Guardarei segredo. Os nutrientes desse pescado devem ter ajudado o ancião a compensar a falta de sol. A Bá estaria perdida aqui, sem sol e sem comer peixe. Uma escultura de um general grego desconhecido sem capacete. Catacumba.
Ah, you've returned.
Uma banheira grande, remodelada para ser uma cama um tanto excêntrica. Melhor prevenir. Deve ser um dos amigos do filósofo que morreram antes dele. Mais um dos amigos, mas esse ele não se deu ao trabalho de embrulhar o corpo. E o jogo tá aguardando. Ih, monstro! Mais flechas, tenho 41 agora. Uma porta fechada desde o outro lado. Pelo outro lado. E agora teremos esses esqueletos perigosos. Suponho que seja contra a corrente de água. E quem é você?
Stop! Do not come any closer. Who are you?
Wezou Biribó! 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 Biribá! E quem é você?
I am Kabash. And let me guess, another Greek or Roman come to loot and plunder the resting place of my ancestors,
Não, não vim buscar nada. Parece a você que sou de Grécia ou de Roma?
Trousers, boots, curious here. No, I suppose you do not. Then what do you want?
Eu quero uma placa egípcia.
To what end?
Devolver ao obelisco.
That is welcome news. You really are not Greek or Roman, are you? I was planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain. Here, take it and restore the honor of Osiris.
Placa egípcia. Uma placa que tem uma inscrição hierográfica em hieróglifos. Osíris, Senhor do Silêncio. Obrigado ou foi demasiado fácil? Foi fácil coisa nenhuma. Obrigado.
Now, as for the other plaque.
A quarta placa você conhece? Sabe onde a encontro? Conhece?
Indeed, I have it right here.
Tá com
I
ele
stumbled
também?
across a collection of dusty curiosities while searching for a place to hide from the hungry children of Amit, and there it was.
Você pode me dar?
You may not. In fact, I am about to destroy it.
Por quê?
Because it speaks a treacherous, blasphemous lie.
Vai direto ao ponto ou não?
I will tell you, but first, do you know what this place is?
É o inframundo egípcio? Ou conhecimento arqueológico? Laduat? Eu vou usar meu conhecimento arqueológico. Laduat?
Indeed, and I see you know our history. This is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story, and here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers, but instead of adopting our ways, they copied and corrupted them. When they found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it, removing his name and replacing it with Hades. Even the ferryman of the dead, known to my people long before as Kerti, they renamed to Keron. As if that desecration was not enough, they built over this place, using it as the foundation for their own underworld, so that ours was forgotten. My only solace is that the Greeks then suffered the same fate when the Romans rose to power, renaming Hades to Pluto, and the cycle began anew.
Qual é o problema com a placa? Eu entendo porque você está bravo com os gregos e os romanos. Mas qual o problema com a placa?
It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is ancient, almost as if it is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so, it would imply the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted from an ancient people who prospered even before us, and that my people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the work of Set, the usurper, seeking to undermine Osiris once more.
E por que não pode ser verdade? O que diz a inscrição? Ou, se você me der, eu me encarregarei de destruí-la por você, o que é uma mentira. Não vou mentir para ele. Vou insistir no que diz a inscrição.
You will never know. This work of sacrilege must be destroyed, thrown into the black abyss below in Osiris's name.
Por favor, não. Pare, eu a necessito. Faz-lo ou te matarei. Pare, eu preciso dela.
You are too late. It is done.
Agora terei que ir na sua busca.
You would plunge into the depths of the Duat with no way back up. Madness.
Veremos. Primeiro tenho umas perguntas para você.
If it will help you to see reason, then ask.
Qual é a tua história?
I am from Rakotis, which you may know as Alexandria, the name of the city the Greeks built over it. I was a fisherman, like my father before me. Since the Romans had taken over from the Greeks, I took the opportunity to learn Latin and eventually traveled to Rome. When the fires broke out last year, I tried to help. I gathered terrified locals into my boat and led many of them to safety farther along the Tiber. On my 7th trip, a passenger demanded I wait for his brother. But we were full to almost sinking, and smoke was all around us. I told him his brother would have to save himself, and he tried to bribe me by placing a coin into my hand. When I refused, he drew a dagger and thrust it between my ribs. I awoke on the banks of the river to a stranger wearing a ram headdress. He said his name was Kirti, and at the time, I simply thought him odd. It did not dawn on me until much later that he was the Kirti, the ram-headed ferryman described in the Book of the Dead.
Sabe como sair daqui?
This is where I belong, as caretaker of the memories of my people. If our ways are to be remembered, it falls to me.
O que você opina sobre a regra de ouro?
I think if someone is to break the golden rule, it will not be me, for I try to live as I always have by the command of the goddess Ma'at. Do to the doer to make him do. As for the punishment that will come from it, I finally understand why it has long been said among my people that gold is the skin of the gods.
O que você crê que há lá embaixo?
I do not know. What could possibly lie beneath the underworld? Perhaps it is infinite darkness. Perhaps it is the lair of Amit, the devourer of souls. All I know is, it would be unwise to venture down there.
E o que você pode me dizer sobre Ogum Badagrum? Imprudente aventurar-se ali embaixo, talvez. Isso não faz mais do que aumentar minha vontade de descer lá. Não, talvez.
Most unwise.
Tenho que ir.
Good. Be gone from this place. Wait. You are planning to go down there. I see it in your eyes.
Já veremos.
I urge you, return to the surface with the Romans. It will be safer for you.
Placa suméria. Uma placa com uma inscrição cuneiforme que diz: Nergal, o fero, é o fiero. Encontrou a quarta placa. Agora é só se salvar. Barricadas deterioradas, sumérios parecem ter... Tá. Então eu tenho que ir para lá sem pisar na pedra? Corre para a pedra seca? É essa a coisa? Não, aqui não congela a água. Ah, eu só dei a volta, vim no mesmo lugar. Ah, dá pra subir por ali. Tem que desviar dessa coisa aqui.
When I told you that you would not find a way back up, that was not a prediction. That was a promise. You will die here.
Não precisa que acabe com violência. Saia do meu caminho, ou será você que morrerá. Não precisa acabar com violência.
I disagree. I warned you against coming down here, against perpetuating this sacrilege. But you persisted. You have undermined and dishonored the true God of the underworld. How did you think this would end, if not with bloodshed?
Escute-me.
Very well, I will listen. But if I sense deception, or if you further insult my gods, I will carry out my threat. So tell me, why should I let you live after you salvaged this instrument of blasphemy?
Se pode destruir algo com a verdade, então merece ser destruído. Não há nada mal em construir sobre os edifícios que outros que vieram antes de você. Só tento devolver as placas que roubaram do obelisco profanado. Se pode destruir algo com a verdade, então merece ser destruído? Ou só tento devolver as placas que roubaram do obelisco profanado? Então, se é possível destruir algo com a verdade, então merece ser destruído.
Then you admit it. You wish to destroy the sacred beliefs of my people. I will not allow this. Many of my ancestors endured great hardship to live good lives so that we may descend to the Duat in death and be judged accordingly. We prepare to have our hearts weighed on Anubis' scales and to swear ourselves innocent of sin before the 42 assessors of Ma'at. And yet, I arrive here to find the Book of the Dead contained only a seed of truth. And now I ask myself, did our priests steal and embellish the stories of an older people and feed us lies all our lives simply to trick us into obedience?
Claro que sim. Seguramente, mas põe a culpa nos teus sacerdotes, não em mim. Querer ser boa pessoa não merece a pena. Pura e simplesmente. Seguramente, mas põe a culpa neles e não em mim.
Blasphemer! You have sealed your own fate.
Um momento, se você me ataca, romperá a regra de ouro. Faça o pior que puder e saco o arco dourado. Se me ataca, romperá a regra de ouro.
Ha, good. I welcome it. You see, the philosopher told me that each time it breaks, Osiris bellows with rage, and his voice shakes the very foundations of the earth. I can only hope one more tremor will lay waste to this fragile place once and for all, and you along with it.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Então é isso, hoje vamos parando por aqui. O Exou Biribó, agradecendo a presença, o apoio, as dicas, a torcida, desejando boa noite, até amanhã. Por enquanto eu fui.